This will be a short tale about my Uncle Jack. He was one of my favorites, and for me a hero in many ways. One thing I'll tell you about was his time in the Second World War. He was drafted shortly after Pearl Harbor. He submitted. And one thing I noticed while I was going through these pictures is the familiar smile that he had seemed to disappear for a while. Perhaps he understood all too well what was coming. I really don't know. He was a scout for the 707th Armored Division. They were attached to the 28th Infantry. Being a scout meant a lot of time he was out alone, carrying information, checking road conditions, things of that nature. One cold day in December, somewhere around Luxembourg, during the Battle of the Bulge, he had a little problem. His Jeep just wouldn't start. He tried for some time to get it to start, but just wouldn't have it. About this time, a German patrol came upon his location, and he was captured. Luckily, he wasn't shot. And for the next month or so, he and thousands of other POWs were herded across Germany to what is now known as northern Poland. At that time, it was Stuttgart, Prussia. Now is where we get to the most important part of the story. It's about humanity and survival. It's getting towards the end of the war. The Germans are running low on supplies. The prisoners must go out to the fields by the roads and pick turnips, for that is what they will have to eat. Every so often they get lucky and they find some potatoes also. Jack kept telling his buddy that was with him, "Don't give up. The war's coming to an end. It's got to be. We just got to keep moving." There again, the Germans were running low on resources, and the camps were mostly guarded by whomever they could find. This one guard was an older gentleman. This man wasn't on board with Hitler's ideas and didn't care too much for the Nazis, but he had to do what he had to do so that he could survive. This man would sneak in bits of bread and sausage for the prisoners. Jack had a penknife that he kept in his waistband. The guard knew about it, didn't care. But more importantly, what Jack would do was he would slice that bread and sausage paper thin so that each man could get at least one little piece of it. I always thought this was a great story when Mother would tell me about it. Two men that are supposed to be shooting at one another, doing the exact opposite. Trying to keep everyone alive. This lunatic war will end and we will have to keep going. My Uncle Jack made it through the war and he returned, came back to Texas, spent the rest of his life in Rotan. He was the charge of the water department. A couple of people that I'd asked later on and after he had passed, if they remembered him, they were, "Oh yeah, we remember Jack Aaron. He'd walk and walk and walk and walk and look at those water lines and check them." Mother also told me that when he came back from the war, that at night he would wake up screaming, remembering things. So I think about Jack from time to time. He was a hero, and so was that German guard. I don't know his name, but they both had the right idea to help one another to survive. And as long as I draw a breath, I will keep Jack alive, even if it's only in my memory. Thank you.